We started the band Riprap about 8 years ago. There were 4 of us. The idea was to try and find some different ways of structuring music and improvisation, rather than the more standard jazz way, which tends to be just like a top line that's harmonized. I was more interested in textures and things like that. The sorts of things that originally inspired us, we were working with poetry. We were going to try and set lyrics by an American beat poet, famous winner of the Pulitzer Prize, named Gary Schneider, in a kind of standard, song text kind of way. We ended up thinking, well, why not do this in the way that it was originally done in the kind of bars in the 50s, which were like poetry slams, guys rapping out over music, these sort of prototype rappers in a sense. I was kind of always interested in the beats because I come from the same town as Jack Kerouac. I was born in Lowell, Massachusetts, and kind of like him in certain ways. I dropped out of school, bummed around a while, kind of knew what I wanted to do. And for me, the beat poets always had more resonance. What we're generally trying to do is, rather than thinking of top lines and harmonized melodies, we're sort of thinking about ways of creating different textures. Some of my primary kind of influences are people like Stravinsky or Dute or Messin or Takemitsu, sort of composers out of the more timbral, textural school. Although the album itself is kind of structured traditionally, normally as we play, what we try to do is just have a series of triggers. There's a fair amount of free improvisation, and there's a fair amount of fairly structured improvisation, and it's nice to do the two. The band itself is great because everybody's a lunatic. Somebody like Dave Gordon, who's the scariest musician I know, plays, I'm so lucky to play with him. He plays in all kinds of stuff, and he's willing to try anything, which is probably why I got involved in this. Andy and Russ I've been playing with for years, and again, they're very flexible and open-ended. And the band as a whole has an idea that, you know, nothing is written in stone. So if any moment anybody steps off in another direction, generally we'll follow them. Sometimes we'll leave them out there to die. It's like a series of kind of mileposts that we try to hit. Sometimes we miss along the way, but you know, the way that we get in between them is always kind of the most interesting part for us. Well, one of the things we are doing at the moment is we just recorded another CD. I've just finished mastering it. And, you know, obviously we're going to take it out and tour it a bit and see how it works, and then move on to the next project. Back in 10, 15 minutes. It's fairly casual.